apparatus as they are produced now. They're heavier, a little bit wider, and it's like I said, we can't afford to to decrease or I should say, increase our response times over there. Safety is paramount to the citizens that we protect. It's paramount to the people who utilize that bridge daily. And again, the last report was about close to 7,000 vehicles a day utilize that bridge. That's a lot. And like I said, I mean, now trying to fight with traffic, going over there to a fire, weight reduction happens, we're going to be in trouble. So I would really like, and again, see whatever kind of money we could and just put a brand new bridge in place, and we don't have to ever worry about any tight fit, any more weight reductions in the future. Thank you.
Thank you. I believe we have our guests via Zoom that now have been able to log on. So is anybody from Senator Casey's office on the Zoom call?
Yeah, can folks hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, this is Ben from Senator Casey's DC office.
Okay, thank you very much. Is any? Can you speak a little bit louder?
It's probably our TV. It's the TV.
Can you identify yourself again from Senator Casey's office?
Oh yeah, sorry folks. Having a hard time with the Zoom thing. This is Ben in Senator Casey's DC office. I work on transportation and infrastructure issues.
Thank you. And is anybody on the Zoom from Senator Fetterman's office? And is anyone on from Congressman Cartwright's office? And is anyone on from PennDOT?
And
what did I do? No, we don't have the
meeting in LCC.
We need you to speak up, please.
Oh, that's Mac. His name popped up here.
We can hear you. Speak up, please.
I think those are just participants who didn't mute their microphones.
Oh, okay.
Yes, sir.
I want to say that I will get in touch with Matt Cartwright if nobody answers to bring him up to speed.
Okay, I know that Senator Casey's office and Senator Fetterman's office and Congressman Cartwright were interested in this. As a matter of fact, they reached out to me, which is one of the reasons why I opened up the meeting. So at this time, if there's anybody who is representing any federal officials that can offer funding options that can be offered through the federal government, any kind of grants, this is the time I'm asking you to offer that to us, our options.
Yeah, this is Ben in Senator Casey's office. If you all can hear me.
Yes.
I know the Raise Grant program is open right now and will be closing in a few months. That was successful for funding the bridges between Pittston and West Pittston last year. I don't necessarily know how successful that timeline might be since it's due in, I think, 2 weeks, and since bridges in Luzerne County were funded last time, but that is one option. There's also the Bridge Investment Program through the Federal Highway Administration, for which I believe the county applied in FY22, if I'm not mistaken. That's an option. those were the two sort of big discretionary federal grant opportunities that I could think of that might be of use for the project. I don't believe anyone from the other offices are there, but those were my first two thoughts. I know, and you can correct me, if the county applied for bridge funding in FY22, did you all meet with the Department of Transportation afterwards to get any sort of feedback on your application or learn anything that you might be able to use for next time?
No, we did not meet with the Department of Transportation to get feedback.
But we do have a scheduled meeting with
Okay.
PennDOT
Okay.
to discuss this bridge and other county projects as well.
Got it. And remind me, sorry, I think I missed an earlier part of the call. I believe there's a loan that's being taken out for a substantial portion, but then there's a missing amount. Is that correct? And how much is that amount?
We have monies available. We get $3 million for 25 years, which brings us probably to about $55 million. That will not cover a total replacement of the bridge, which is estimated today, I believe approximately $64 million. I can tell you unequivocally, without a doubt, the county does not have the money to make up that difference.
So the 10 to 11 million or the $9 to $10 million difference is the main issue right now. Okay, that's
Correct.
helpful.
And on the list of projects that were to be covered by this LSA grant, there are a number of other projects that are on that list as well, which I can tell you absolutely, unequivocally, that we do not have the money to fund those other projects. Not until the year 2030.
Got it. Just making sure to write this one down. Yeah, I think those two, the RAISE and the Bridge Investment Program, are the two best opportunities. Neither of which are, I mean, the RAISE one would be a tight turnaround, but the Bridge Investment Program, I believe they've made some amendments to the program to make it a little more flexible in terms of deadlines and decisions. So I would definitely recommend that the county, especially since you're familiar with the application, take a look at that one again. And we're obviously willing to lend support however we can. And, you know, if you speak with PennDOT or folks from the Federal Highway Administration and get feedback, we're also happy to help connect you with folks and do what we can to support any applications you put in for federal discretionary funds.
Do we have any other elected officials, whether they're federal or state, that might be able to offer anything? Senator?
Thank you very much, Romilda, and thank you for bringing everybody together today. And obviously, I can reiterate what I think are the consequences of what ignoring this condition of the West Nanticoke Bridge could mean. You heard from the chief about public safety and the cost of human life that you can't put a price on. We've talked about the devastation to the continued economic growth and development of the South Valley. And I think it would be irresponsible if we don't act accordingly as we look at this significant bridge structure. If we do nothing and wait, that is going to only increase the price beyond $64 million, and we cannot afford, I believe, to wait. So I would be in agreement that we should do everything we can to support this bridge fully and have it reconstructed for the long-range impact to the South Valley. And am committed, and obviously was committed when I voted voted in 2021 to redirect money to county projects. And so that certainly demonstrates our commitment. I'd like to thank Senator John Yudichak, who had the foresight to come forward with the idea of funding this project, as well as county roads and infrastructure that are in deplorable condition. Most of the roads I hear about in Romilda, we've talked often, they're county-owned infrastructure. And so we're committed to working with you, but I think the longer you wait, the worse it will be, and the more important that we move forward and work to address it. There are state fundings in addition to what we've identified through the LSA program diversion, and that would be the multimodal funding, both PennDOT multimodal and DCED multimodal. I don't know that could fully get you the $9 million you need, but certainly that's a viable pot of money that we would encourage the county to look at. I'm happy to hear that we have federal representatives on, and federal earmarks would be another way to combine that with all of it. So I'm committed to working with you to address this. I think the longer we wait, I think it's irresponsible. And ultimately, the taxpayers of this county, whether the bridge costs $64 million today or $100 million in 10 years, we are still on the hook. It's our county infrastructure, and we have to fix it. So I'm pledging to be a partner to work with the county to address what I believe is a very high priority for the 20th senatorial district.
Thank you, Senator. Thank you for all of your help over the years. I'm going to take a leap here and say on behalf of the administration and council, because we are working together, the administration and council, we believe in collaboration, and safety is paramount. I know that. I spoke to council members, and economic growth. And I can tell you, if we partner with the federal government and the state government, that's how this works. That's how we get things done. And that's how we move Luzerne County forward. And I'm committed to it. My staff is committed to it. And I know that council is committed to it as well. I believe we have representatives of PennDOT on the line. If they would like to add anything, this is the time to do it in this forum.
Hi, Romilda and everybody. This is Rich Roman from PennDOT in Dunmore. Could everybody hear me?
Yes.
Loud and clear.
Okay, good. Good afternoon. Sorry for the technical difficulties earlier.
That's my apology. So
Sure. I apologize for being late. I think the only other thing I would add from the senator's comments is, there are opportunities to apply for funding through the bipartisan infrastructure deal, the IIJA, for major bridges of this size. So there are competitive grants and there's application processes to be had. I think you all know we received $19 million for Fort Jenkins and Water Street to help us get to those bridges. So maybe there's an opportunity for this county-owned structure to compete for federal funding.
thank you. And I specifically want to thank you and your staff. You've been very helpful with my staff and myself with questions about grant funding through PennDOT. I don't want that to go unnoticed, especially with our state representatives here, that I really depend on your guidance, and you've been very, very helpful with this project and all other projects with the county. I have to my right our representative.
Hi, everyone. Alec Cavish, State Representative, and I just want to echo the comments of the Senator. We are a team, and that is why we are here together with the COG, members of the COG. We got the federal, our federal legislators in the room and their staffs, and now County Council. It is ultimately the decision of the County Council, and you're hearing the pleads today from our residents and from the stakeholders, the communities, the public safety administrators, and the economic development leaders. This bridge is not not just a key to safety, it's not just a key to economic development, but it's a key to what is the next chapter for Northeast Pennsylvania. We started successfully with the legislators before us, recruiting businesses to this area. Now we are focusing on housing and how we can increase the quality of life in the county, and your administration has been spearheading that. And so now we have to figure out where do we pick up the next $10 million to complete this project. The state has stepped up to the plate. Our county officials have stepped up to the plate. And I think to get the conversation continuing, we have a meeting coming up with Secretary Carroll on Wednesday, which will further solidify the commitment that the state has in seeing this project come to fruition. I'm personally advocating for a complete reconstruction of the bridge for all the communities that it serves. And hopefully at the end of it, we'll have something we'll be proud about. Something that the senator closed with is if this project goes on longer, it might be $100 million. Today we're looking at $64 million. And so we'll continue to work together. We did loop in. We do have 2 congressmen that actually connect to this bridge. So between the RAISE grant, the Bridge Infrastructure Program, multimodal, there's TIP. We just heard about IIJA. There are opportunities. We just all have to come together and figure out how we can get the applications in and how we can lobby the support from those legislators. But on behalf of the state and my piece of it in the House of Representatives, I'm fully committed to seeing a full replacement of this bridge. And I hope County Council will hear our testimony today and figure out how we can all work together to get this over the finish line.
Okay, thank you. Right now, would a representative of Benish would like to come up to the podium and talk about overall costs?
Sure. My name's Ed Bosak.
Did you get on, Justine?
We completed the preliminary engineering on behalf of the county. And as you know, our previous presentation to the county council, we went through the three options. One's a rehab, one's a partial replacement, and the relocation. One thing I want to clarify, the partial replacement and the relocation, you do accommodate the wider widths, the safety factors there. The big difference is the cost. So I think option two, as we talked, was right around 40 million. The other one's 64 million. But those are in today's dollars. So the thing we do have to consider is that these prices will continue to climb as depending on when the projects come to completion. That's really it. I think if you have any general other questions on our report, I'd be more than happy.
I do have a question. The timeline, if we use federal dollars, will that increase the time it'll take to construct the bridge?
I guess we can compare it to the Pittston Bridge. I believe that is taking a little bit longer. Just simply because there's more approval processes we'll have to go through. So generally speaking, yes.
And right now we have council members here, and I just want to say for the record, this is an informational session. This is not a formal meeting. There will be no deliberations by council. But we do have council members here, a very good representation of council because they're very concerned about this. So at this time, are there any questions from any of the council members?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Barkmo. 2 years ago, there's a almost identical bridge 10 miles north up the river. The bridge up in Pittston was built, a truss bridge, built in 1914, same story. And when it was determined that it had to be replaced, they closed it completely, PennDOT did. 2 years ago, it was actually March of 22, we met, discussed this with the PennDOT officials. And we came to a common agreement of how those 2 bridges are gonna be replaced. They're both 100 years old or more. I just want everybody in the room to know that that process will take, PennDOT said, 6 to 7 years to replace that truss bridge. That was 2 years ago. So we still have probably another 4 years before that bridge is gonna be replaced. A lot of that was due to environmental concerns, which they said to clear those environmental hurdles would take about a year and a half. And then there was national historical concerns because anything over 100 years old, which is the Nanticoke Bridge. That takes about another year and a half for the historical people to clear it. They want to make sure, when they demolish a bridge, nothing goes in the river, common themes for environmental concerns. So I don't know what's gonna happen eventually here with this bridge replacement, but I imagine if, you know, the state's involved, it's probably gonna be a 6-year timeframe, just so everybody knows. I just wanna throw that out, because that's what we're facing with an identical bridge upriver. That's it, thanks.
Any other questions?
Yeah, I just wanted to thank everybody for being here. Thank you, Lower South Valley COG and Romilda for putting this meeting together. I actually have a question for Benish, if I apologize, Ed. If you could just go into a little bit of the details of the option 2, the partial replacement, and the option for the full replacement. You know, the safety concerns and whatnot, you seem to say that they've been addressed. And we had a couple of questions about this at our previous council meeting, but just so that the rest of the public, you know, just for their edification.
Sure.
So
Partial replacement
will completely
replace
the steel
the
truss
steel
that you
truss
see
that you
out
see
there.
out there.
And then I think
And
you
then I
have
think you have
about
about
1,000
1,000+ feet of approach bridge roadway, which they're shorter spans.
They're
They're
pre-stressed
pre-stressed
concrete.
concrete.
And as you all
know right now, it's very narrow.
There is a
There
sharp,
is a sharp turn, not sharp, but there is a turn on there, which does make it difficult to
get through
there with it being
so narrow.
so narrow.
The new
The new
bridge
bridge
will have
all new
substructure
or piers and abutments in the river.
will
Will
widen
widen that bridge.
But in
But
addition,
in addition to widen it over the bridge, we're going to widen it the whole way back into Nanticoke.
So what that
So what that
does
does is
your turning
your turning movements coming through
the bridge
the bridge and stuff
will be
satisfactory, no safety concerns.
In
In
addition
addition
to that,
to address future development,
we would look at the future traffic projections, and we can add that additional way, which I think in our revised report we did address. And that's something that
can be worked into the design as it progresses.
So that would be
the
partial
replacement option.
The only thing
that's going to remain in there are the piers
that
are on the
Nanticoke
Nanticoke side.
Those are the
smaller piers.
I think they
I
span
think they span 50 feet. They're spaced about every 50 feet.
Those piers
are in
satisfactory
satisfactory condition. They can be rehabilitated. There's no signs of distress based on the recent inspection.
The
The
relocation
relocation
is a
totally
totally
new bridge.
The bridge is going to be as wide as the other bridge. The option two. The only difference is
we're putting all new components in.
So
Otherwise,
they're pretty much identical. Besides
those substructure units that are
going to remain
in place.
How about the lifespan?
So
Would they be similar, or would
the
the
superstructure is basically the beams in the deck. They'll have the same lifespan. We shoot for 100 years, but you need to maintain it. I think we discussed that previously. Substructure units themselves, same relative time frame. You will need to do some maintenance to those existing substructure units in the future. I don't have a crystal ball to say when that is, but they are over-designed from the get-go. They're fairly substantial, no signs of distress, besides some sacrificial stuff. If we felt there were issues from the inspection reports and stuff, we wouldn't try to remove those. So those, I can't give you definitive, but probably 40 to 60 years. You may have to do some work 20 years in to do some patching as you go into your inspection, but I don't see it as being anything substantial.
Okay, thank you.
Well, I'm ready to take on the maintenance in 40, 60 years, I'll tell you that. Yeah. Sir?
I just have a comment. I was listening to this gentleman. You were saying to what it's gonna, as far as might take 6 or 7 years to build a new bridge. And the other part of it was if you were partial, you'd be able to start that a lot sooner. Correct? I'm just saying, because you wouldn't have, you're not building a new, you're replacing some of the structure. And so that would probably take less than the 6-year span which this gentleman was talking about building newer.
There is a difference, but Mr. Thornton's comment, I think, was related to the funding type and the approval. Right. Correct. So that.
Just the funding, and that's before you start. You're talking about the time frame of the funding of the process.
Yeah, once the source of funding becomes statewide,
right,
then there's those additional requirements that prolong the project.
I got that. But see, what I'm thinking is, when this gentleman asked, well, how about the other part? You just replace the structure as it is. You're not gonna do anything with the width. You're just gonna replace it. In my mind, it's like putting a Band-Aid. Like, well, 40 million is cheaper than 60. I'm just using round figures. And I hope, my hope is that we don't go that route, because they need a new bridge. And if you just fix what you have there now, we're gonna be right back to the table, trying to figure out the width and all the other components which the fire chief had mentioned. And you understand?
I do.
But just to clarify, the two options I believe the county has been discussing are either option 2 or 3. Two or three will have the wider. I think it's 36 feet. It's both of them are the same width. So your concerns are valid. That only goes back if you do option 1, which is the rehabilitation. Option 1 lets the truss in place. That one does not increase the width. It doesn't address any of the safety concerns. But options 2 and 3 do address safety concerns, the width. They also address the additional traffic, with the wider bridge down at the intersection. So I think from that standpoint, 2 and 3 do address those concerns.
Ed, I have a question. Could you clarify a little bit on the cost for the replacement? And we're using numbers. I'm not sure we're even in the ballpark.
So I'll just go through the numbers quick, and then you can ask me more. Just if I don't answer your question. So alternative one was just the rehabilitation, which we really don't seem to be discussing too much. That's 47.8. Alternative 2, roughly 40 million. But that's today's dollars. And alternative 3, 64 million today's dollars. So you can expect inflation to keep hitting these every year. So these numbers next year are going to go unless something changes. This is what we've been seeing industry-wide. I believe in the last 3 years, construction costs, I read an article pushing 50% increase from 2020 up to 2023.
So it could be even $20 million.
It could. So we got to be cautionary with how we proceed on this because there is a chance, and I think it's a decent chance we're going to continue to see these numbers decline.
And is there a way that we can lock in an amount once we make the decision?
Unfortunately, I can't. But I think the sooner you get to construction to that point, the better. I mean, that's just typically how things have been, unfortunate.
I think one other concern that council members had when we initially voted to allocate funds for the bridge replacement was that we would be able to use the excess that wasn't used for this bridge on the other road projects, which, as we've heard, are very much necessary in this county. We have been working really hard. This council and previous council has really been working to try to fix our roads. We hear what the citizens have to say, but if we did have that extra money, that extra 15 million, $10 million, whatever it would be, that would be significantly helpful to us. I think that maybe it seems like there's a miscommunication, just for clarification of that the second option and the third option do in fact address the safety concerns.
Absolutely.
Just if you can reiterate
Absolutely.
the widening of the bridge,
additional traffic capacity, the safety issues are addressed. And you got to understand, as we were working through this study, it's always great to have the best brand, everything new. No doubt. I mean, nobody's going to dispute that. But when we started working through this, and we were working with the county, we know the budget. So we had to start looking at some value engineering. What can we reuse? How can we right-size this project so that it met the county's requirements as far as safety and longevity, all that stuff. But also, obviously, we spent as much money as you could if you had it. So I think this kind of bridges the gap, gets you to what you need. I mean, it's ultimately your decision. But knowing that you have other commitments, and as we worked with the county over the past couple of years, that was something that always came up. Is hey, this is what we got. We got to try to work within our limits. So I mean, that's kind of how we get to that option 2 and 3. But we had to look at all. We actually looked at the fourth option. We ended up. I think we discussed that briefly. But that was also a brand new bridge. So yes. Just to reiterate, 2 and 3 address safety.
Also addresses the weight limit.
Absolutely. Yeah, 2 and 3 address the weight limit. So any legal, PA legal.
So the weight would be, with today's standards, that would be.
You can drive any piece of equipment you have. And no restrictions for options 2 and 3.
And that would be steel or concrete?
The approach spans would be concrete and the river crossing I believe was steel.
And that's widening the bridge deck from one end to the other 32 or 36 feet.
Yeah, I think it was 36. I think the existing out there, the existing bridge, I think it's only 24. I might be off the hair, so that's not exact. I don't have my notes in front of me.
Yeah, it's the same, it would be the same width as opposed to a brand new.
2 and 3.
Or essentially.
They're the same width, identical. It's just, one's on a new location. Yeah. And the only part that's not getting replaced are the piers that are located in the floodplain. But the piers in the river would be replaced. Those are the larger piers.
I apologize.
No,
you keep asking. For option 2, how will the approach angle be addressed?
Well, we're just by widening the bridge, your sight distance improves. If you're looking like this, and you go like this, you can see a lot better. So by widening that bridge, that addresses the sight distance issue. And we actually ran the turning movements there already during preliminary engineering. It works. It meets criteria.
Yes, any other questions?
Yeah, so when you're talking about widening the bridge, and you're talking mostly for the safety purposes, so the bridge now is 2 12-foot lanes essentially, right? So you're going to 32 or 36?
2 12s and 5s. So yeah,
essentially 5-foot shoulders. So you're not. So it's not, the widening isn't accommodating additional traffic.
But when we hit the intersection down there where the traffic signal is, we do have a provision in there to widen the bridge. And that's determine how much stacking you need for turning movements on either side. So that's something that would be incorporated into the design of either option 2 or 3, based on your traffic projections for future development. We did have an allowance in there. It's an allowance because we don't know the exact number. But we can make adjustments. So that does address the.
I heard initially it was like a 10% increase, which was about 60.
Yeah, I think we ended up revising it. But I
was not familiar with that.
Without me pulling the report up and reading through, so I apologize. I don't have the exact. But we did take your development area, and we estimated based off some of the information we had received. So we did have. I think it may have been the report you distributed. I'm not sure, but we did have.
We had that updated more recently. Okay. Just to kind of give you an idea. So we've seen a lot of the development down in the lower South Valley, which focused more around these distribution type facilities. Mm-hmm. So when we talked originally about the 60 trucks additional for the widened, or for that were accounted for this option of the bridge. Just looking at one of those facilities, like the new Lowe's facility, which went down in Newport Township, which is about 1 million plus square feet. Based on the tabular calculations, you're looking at about 110 or more trucks for that. So just give you for one building like that, that 60 additional trucks taken into accommodation here doesn't come close to addressing that. What we've looked at, and again, these are all potential scenarios. There's nothing that's really set in stone there, but again, just looking towards the future, over that 1,800 acres, we could be looking at 4 or 5 times that amount. So it's a significant potential increase that could happen down there. And again, it's potential increases, but we know that a lot of it, because it hinges on the bridge, that none of that would be able to happen without being able to address that capacity issue.
So my question for both of you gentlemen is, a new bridge, is there a better location than where it is currently sitting to put a new bridge that is more economical? And we could work within the budget that this LSA grant has given us.
Yeah, I don't know that the river's not getting any narrower, so I think we got the same span. But there's potential.
About a 1,000-foot approach to this bridge.
Right.
Is there a different spot that might be more beneficial to your economic growth and your concerns with safety that a new bridge can address in a different location?
Yeah, those are the entrances to the city. Basically, you have your Route 29 bridge. That's up a little upstream. All of that traffic comes down through the middle of Nanticoke, and I think Nanticoke already sees traffic issues coming down through the middle of their downtown. So I think something further upstream would limit that. So I think it's probably, aside from maybe going a few hundred feet upstream or downstream. I don't know if there's another option out there really, unless it's looked at harder.
Your turn.
We didn't look into
We didn't look into it.
Yeah,
Okay,
our
scope
scope
of
of
work was limited to improving
the bridge
in
its current location
or within
the immediate vicinity. And the issue
you have there is that floodplain is very large.
So changing those span lengths and keeping that bridge elevation where it is to maintain that floodplain elevation. In that location, it's a good idea.
I just don't know the answer.
It may be possible, but it may not either. Depending on
how the floodplain behaves up through there. It's just not something we looked into.
Honestly, thinking about it a little more, just thinking about as you go downstream, and you get into like the Woodridge areas and the not the Buttonwood areas, but the Honeypot areas. The topography on this side of the river just, it shoots up extremely. So I think that we're kind of committed to that corridor there. So
We actually had a similar problem in Pittston when we were looking at the bridge situation there, because being that there's two bridges, the thought was, just combine it into one. But the traffic patterns of both Pittston and West Pittston actually, the towns were formed around having those two bridges. So when you turn it into one, it becomes a huge issue economically.
Your study looked at the right of way for the businesses on the Route 11 side of the West Nanticoke Bridge. Are they going to be losing any? Is there any concerns there with the widening of the bridge with the two? I think there's two car dealerships and a tire spot coming from West Nanticoke over.
The option three, the new bridge has the most right of ways. Option two, which is keeping it on alignment, where it tapers down to 11. There will be some takes there, but they're not significant, but there is some impacts.
Will there be a cost associated with those that's not in the engineering?
No, we put an allocation, in the estimate. So, there's money set aside to account for that. I mean, that's something that if we move forward with the project, then obviously it goes through the right-of-way negotiation process to get fair market value. And depending on how many the lane configuration as we get in there on 11, the impacts. But yes, there are some impacts. But option three has more impacts.
When it comes to funding, when the cost estimates go up and up and up, is the state and federal government going to chip in more money to help us cover those increased costs? I don't think the county worked.
No, at this point we can't, not with our debt. Everybody knows it's not even an elephant in the room. It's very public. And this is a first step. I mean, on the agenda, I have next steps. And I want, hopefully we can have maybe more informational sessions to hammer out some of these questions that were raised today. And we can actually get more information from our friends in Washington and in Harrisburg so that we can have a better understanding about the amounts of monies that are out there in order for council to make a very important decision. And they have to make it based on the information that we have. So I don't know if anyone has anything else that they would like to add. Sarah, you had your hand up.
Sorry, I did have a question about access during construction. I was wondering if Ben should speak to that, because I think there some concerns.
How will we access during construction?
Yes.
So it would be from actually both the Nanticoke and West Nanticoke side in the floodplain area. In addition to that, are you talking construction access? I'm sorry.
I'm talking about just vehicular access on the bridge during construction.
It'll be closed.
Probably 2 years.
Probably 2.5 years.
With both option 2 and option 3?
No, not with option
I
3.
think that's very
It is,
important.
yeah.
It is, and that was in our report. Yeah.
So
So
you're going to be
down 2.5 minimum
when that
bridge is being
partially
replaced. Yep.
Anything else?
Anything else? I know that we have a town hall meeting scheduled in Nanticoke for March 7th. I am instituting town hall meetings in various areas of Luzerne County. I know a lot of individuals have a lot to say. They can't make it to meetings. So we will bring the administration and council members to the public to hear from them. And our first session is in Nanticoke. And that could be our informational session number 2. On the bridge, we can ask Benish to provide maybe more information, and we'll be able to answer some of these questions. This is a beginning. We are committed to transparency. We are committed to do what is in the best interest of Luzerne County, and that means safety, addressing safety concerns, and economic development. We cannot have economic development without a strong infrastructure. We are all aware of that. And we're also aware that we are the keeper of taxpayer funds, and we take that very seriously. So unless there's any other questions or any other statements?
Sorry. Can people hear me? This is Ben again in Senator Casey's office.
Yes.
I just wanted to say that I think it would absolutely be helpful to set up another time to discuss with PennDOT and with you all more in depth sort of what the tip looks like, any potential applications, how much, what the strategy would be there. So we can follow up, but we would be happy to have further meetings on this one and make this sort of the first of many conversations between our office. And I'm sure that Senator Fetterman's team and Congressman Cartwright's team would love to do the same. So we'll follow up.
We will do that.
Perfect.
We will do that. Ask your friends from PennDOT that I keep calling. So between Michelle Sperry and I, you will hear from us.
Perfect. Thank you.
Anything else before we close?
Yeah, I just want to make a couple comments about the funding from the county. For everybody's edification here, especially the newer council members. 2 years ago, we sat here in February, March 22, and Senator Duchek worked very hard on putting together the legislation at the state level to formulate a financial plan for the county to replace that bridge and put a new bridge in. And I just want everybody to know, I don't think anybody in the county council doubts that we need a new bridge. I mean, everybody knows we need a bridge for safety reasons, number one, and number two. Unfortunately, the Nacera project, which was billed as a huge project coming to that area, hasn't happened. And many of us don't believe it's ever going to happen, but nonetheless, we still need a bridge. So what we did was, it was a very tough pill to swallow. The county borrowed the money. It's not like we're sitting on surplus cash. We borrowed the money to fund a new bridge. The price tag was $50 million 2 years ago. So we borrowed $55 million. I believe it was 55. Thought we'd have a little extra to do some of the other urgent county projects that we have, roads and bridges around the county. I think we have 300 some bridges in the county.
Jen?
Most of them need a lot of work. Some need total replacement. The smaller bridges over streams and creeks and roadways. But anyway, we borrowed $55 million. So just so everybody knows, that's a loan that we're sitting on. And then the question became, how are we going to pay that back? Because county council and home rule government came here 12 years ago. And I give a lot of praise to the past council members that sat here and exercise strict fiscal restraint. They never borrowed money in 12 years. When they came in office 12 years ago, the county was saddled and a burden of $466 million in debt. The county, the future looked very bleak. I remember I wasn't on county council, I was on borough council somewhere, but it looked very bleak. And this home rule government has, in my opinion, has worked very successfully in that they have religiously paid down that debt and have not borrowed any money in those 12 years, except 2 years ago, we borrowed $55 billion for this project. So the question is, how are we going to pay this back? We don't want to just go raise taxes on everybody. That's the simple, easy fix, which I'm never a fan of. So, Senator Deschak did a great job, and structured a plan where we would receive LSA money from the state, that's the gambling fund. As long as the gambling industry remains robust, that $3 million is expected to come here every year, and then we can pay down that debt over 25 years. So even if the bridge costs $50 million, which it did 2 years ago, it was still going to cost $75 million to pay it back. You know, with all the interest, 25 years. And the challenge is that LSA money is not guaranteed. There's nothing in writing that says we're going to get $3 million a year for 25 years. So hopefully, gamblers gamble a lot more. The industry remains robust, and we get that $3 million for 25 years so we can pay down that debt. So now we're sitting here, and it's $64 million, and like everybody said, it's going to be more and more. So we desperately need, and I'm making a desperate plea to PennDOT and our state officials to please help and supply the gap funding to make sure this bridge moves forward. Thank you.
Thank you. Senator?
Ramilda, Councilman, thank you for going through how that LSA program works. The legislation was very clear that the money will be directed to Luzerne County. So it was actually written out in the legislation, and it is very clear. I think the point why we are here today, and I'm not speaking for Representative Kevich, is that we are committed to working with you. As I mentioned, the roads, the bridges, but it would be unconscionable if we have an opportunity to fix a long-standing problem for Nanticoke and West Nanticoke. And for me, I think it has to be a priority that we address along with all the other things. So that's why we're here. But the commitment in the legislation was very, very clear.
Thank you, Senator. Anything else for the good of the order? I want to thank all our representatives who are here today, both from the federal government, the state government, and our county government and our municipal government. That's how things get done. When we all sit down and we talk to each other, there are a lot of very intelligent people in this room and on the Zoom call, and we can figure this out. We will follow this up at our meeting in Nanticoke, our first stop on our whistle tour. It's good to see all our friends from the Lower Valley. I have a very much respect for all of you and all that you've done for Luzerne County. So if there's nothing else that we can discuss today, I want to thank you, and please be safe tomorrow with the weather, and we'll be back.
Just